So me and Chris were kind of talking about how being in a dark place leads you to learning more about life and hopefully learning more on how to help yourself out of it. And the things that we get, the the attitudes that we get, the kind of like introspection. I don't know if that's a word. Hang on. Is it?
Well, introspection.
Yeah.
Same.
That you get from being there
Mhm.
and kind of rolling. Like a lot of my writing is different. A lot of my art is different from being in there. I'll go back through notes from the years that I was really in that place. And, you know, I have songs wrote up, and I have ideas for art that we were going to use for B.A.D. And some of it I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Because your mind's in a whole different place.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense that way.
And, you know, the reason that I even wanted to bring it up before we did this was because it's like an emotional thing, and it's hard to reread some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for us to sit down here and put ourselves back into a more difficult spot, or to go into the past. But I think while we don't live in the past anymore, I think it's beneficial that we sometimes remind ourselves how far we've come. So kind of changing that perspective of like, you're going to go into the past to see how far you've come out of it, rather than go into the past and dwell on the things that you can't change. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I avoid because I don't want to slip back towards that.
Yeah.
And I can make myself real sad real fast.
Me and you were talking about that with songs, like
I do everything. Well,
the songs that we would listen to then, like but it's the same thing. Like you're feeling the same emotion that the artist is expressing, and that if you're connecting, it's because they were in that same place, and it's almost like you traveled to a different world together, and you no longer want to travel to that world when you move out of it. So when it flicks on through your playlist or whatever, it brings you, sometimes it'll bring you right back.
Yeah. Who is that dude? Plays like he does 68 or whatever. What something.
This episode is brought to you by Construction Coffee Co. Go to constructioncoffeeco.com, a company that knows exactly what kind of fuel you need when the day starts too early and ends too late. They're not just slapping a label on cheap beans. This stuff is roasted with real grit, made for people who move, build, and stay busy. You've got blends like Crack of Dawn to kickstart the day, Sparky's Nightmare for the ones who live in chaos, and King of the Castle for anyone who runs the site or just thinks they do. And it's not just coffee. They've got gear too. Mugs, tees, stickers, hats. Tough enough for the job site, clean enough to wear on your day off. More blends are on the way, and they're just getting started. So if you want to support a crew that actually gives a damn about what they're making, check out constructioncoffeeco.com. Construction Coffee Co. Clock in, drink up, shut up.
Cass & Co. Upscale Thrift is redefining resale. Think timeless fashion, luxury brands, and curated pieces, all at prices that let you stay stylish without the splurge. Whether you're hunting for vintage classics or this season's designer staples, we'll make high-end accessible. Dress like you own the runway for a fraction of the price.
Well, what you were saying in the beginning reminds me of the Book of Five Rings. Because if you know the way broadly, you can see it in all things. So if you know where the darkness is, you can see it better, and hopefully you can help avoid it better. Hopefully you can avoid it better.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm like, me and Chris were talking about on the last one was, and it was, I'm just being a devil's advocate when I say it, when I'm like, is it an injustice to help people to stay out of it? Because it brought me to a better place of wanting to help myself, because I know what it's like to be there. So in turn, I'm able to help myself, and then in turn from there, help other people.
I feel like that's just a slippery slope argument, kind of, because like, yeah, you might not pull yourself back out, so it's probably better not to experience it. But is it? Because I feel like such a better person now because I know how bad I can be.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's the point. Like maybe that's our job. Maybe our job is like like I try not to tell myself like, oh, you were strong enough to do all of this, because it's probably a fault to me. Like I probably should say, hey, you were at the darkest point in your life and you're not anymore, and you did some work there.
What was that other thing I said? It was talking about victory is the ultimate defeat.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Because if you talk about it so much and it sounds, even if it's not like, you know, even if it's, even if you're not trying to self-flagellate,
Yeah.
It comes across that way in your mind. And if, you know, it ultimately, I think it can be a defeat. It can be self-defeating to just always like to talk about strength. And
Yeah.
Can
Well,
be.
that
Not always.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it feels like to me. I don't ever like to blow up my ego, even to a fault.
I don't like posting on social media.
Yeah, I don't think any
hate
of us
everyone's
do.
seeing my
You
life.
had,
and
you
my-
had your experience.
It took me hours.
Yeah, that's okay. The next one won't, and then the next one after that, you won't even give a shit. So,
Yeah.
so joining into the pond there.
Yeah.
Weird, but yeah, I just so it might not always be a easy thing, and the like for us to go to that place and for us to express it the perfect way, to have the perfect reel about it so somebody can learn about it in 2 seconds. And that's what we're doing here, is like trying to like kind of work ourselves back into it, to remind ourselves what we were able to go through. And like I said, I think it's just our jobs. It's everybody's job that's been through a hard time to try and pass the lesson on to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the gift that we all get out of hard times, is the lesson that we get, the hard lesson, and then it's our job to teach the lesson on to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, hopefully, we have a world full of people who aren't. We're not going to have a world full of people who don't experience hard times, but we have a world full of information that just gets passed along and helped through community.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shout out Greg Anderson. Prioritize pain and microdose adversity. I think those are two great things he came up with, but
yeah,
he's selling them on t-shirts.
Yeah.
I think they're awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep.
Maybe even Andy Stump make the hard choice.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they've got some good quotes.
They really do.
So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and try to read this and try to make it make sense to me still. But I wrote this on the way over to your house, and I was still struggling with a whole lot, but we were doing a side job, and I whipped over on the side road. I had just gotten off the phone with you, and it was like, I don't know. I was like, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I really was. And then all of a sudden I didn't show up for like a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then I showed up and you're like, you all right? And I was like, I texted this to you because it just came into my head as I was just driving down the dirt road real quick. I don't have Jocko's voice, so we're going to play with this.
Yeah.
You are not a bright butterfly. You're a savage tribesman dying in a body of goop, taking most days to pretend you're okay with it, and the other days you're sulking and sitting in the misery that are solely your own fucked up decisions, all based on the fact that you were hurt once. You can be helped 1,000,000 times, but it's the hurt that seeps into our psyche and convinces us that it'll happen again. Around the corner is another hell, awaiting to unfold, to once more tear into the inner child that once had real authentic energy, real smiles, real hope, real faith in humanity. Same humanity that we curse because they don't carry this world record of weight on their necks, or if they do, they can hide it well. But as the future blends with the past, we can already see the scars of rope and leather burns around our throat and mirrored reflections of a hole where the pain subsides. We are the attempt to demolish the demon. We praise men for sacrificing one's life for our country, yet the sacrifice of ourselves to destroy it helps no one, for we cannot say it worked. Rather, we shall fight in numbers hand in hand, driving the demons back to the hell they came from. We follow them to their home and battle there until we have taken our lives and the lives for the ones before us back. For hell is merely land, and with warriors to besiege and the will to fight, all land can be conquered, no matter the challenge. That is not how I write now. There's a lot of symbolizing. There's a lot of like talking about, death and the things that I was kind of dealing with. And it wasn't as if I was suicidal when I was writing these messages. It was the fact that I had been to that place.
Mm-hmm.
And those stories will come when I'm ready to talk about them. But it like even reading it throws me back into the place that I was in, and I'm already feeling a little off by reading it. When I was writing it, I just remember having this revelation of telling myself, like, I'm not this, beautiful image of a person, and I'm not all of this. I am just another human being. Like, I'm just like everybody else, and everybody else is kind of hurting, and all I'm doing is I'm living my life based on the fact that I was hurt once, or that I was hurt 10 times, and then I never was able to get over it, because I think, especially as if we're children and we're hurt and we don't know where to put that, it just feels like that betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
And we carry that always. And I think I just realized that if we're all hurt and we're all taking it out on each other, and if we all admit that we're hurt and we're all there, we're able to come together and help each other tackle on that demon, that like tackle on hell. However you want to explain it to people. There's a dark side and there's a light side to things. There's happiness and there's sadness, and there's heaven and hell, and there's, however you want to express it. And I think this was my point of talking about B.A.D and talking about the fact that we come hand in hand to defeat hell and defeat the demons that are attacking all of us. And all it is working on ourselves and admitting to ourselves that we're all human and we all make mistakes and we all have work to do, but we can all do it together.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I'm just like, it is hard for me to go on like after reading it. I read it last night. I read it, but I haven't read it out loud in a long time. I don't even know if I've ever read it out loud.
I don't think so.
And I feel nerves in me, and it's not the monster. It feels as if like, I kind of explain this to myself a little bit. It's hard because I'm going to find the passage I'm going to find the point in my notebook that I wrote where it's hard to go back and touch. I equate it to like Stranger Things, where it's like, I'm going to go back down into the upside down.
Yeah.
Just for a second. But then you go in for a second and it just feels like you have the capability of being lost again.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to get back out. Like with my disorder, like I have ups and downs and they're severe. And so when I'm super happy, I'm super happy. Like astronomical. And when I'm low, I feel as if I'm never getting out. Now, over the years, I've developed tools, and I've been given tools by therapists and friends and family and stuff, and created them myself just to get out and make sure that I know that this is just another cycle of mine, and I have to keep the routines to get there. But when you're in it, it's a fucking scary thing. You just feel smothered and sometimes I even feel smothered by happiness, where I'm like overstimulated by things.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you kind of run on extremes. It's very, especially, yeah.
Yeah, well, I know you've witnessed it too. Like I,
Sometimes I
yeah.
didn't know who I was running into.
Yeah, it was, you know, and again, I mean, it took a long time for me to even get here, and I'm getting to the point. I feel like it's getting easier for me to not be on any extremes.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's certain things that trigger that, but I also allow those into my life.
Mm-hmm. Might have been Alan Watts, might not have been, because I've been on a big kick again. I forgot how much I love that dude.
Yeah.
Don't know anything about him, so if he's a bad guy, leave me alone. I like how he writes. And he was talking about it was like 4 stages to forgiveness, sort of, not like the usual. It was like, you know, the first step was forgiving your parents, because even if that you have to be happy for what they provided you, even if it wasn't good. You have to move forward, assuming they did the best that they could at the time, because at the end of the day, they were children too.
Yeah.
If they had you for anywhere from 16 to 30, they were children.
Yeah, even older.
Me having a kid at 29, I still felt like a kid until I had a kid. Second was the people you love. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. You have to move on. I think the third one was people who've wronged you. The guy kind of leans towards that. Don't assume everything comes from malice. What can be attributed to ignorance, and it's not meaning they're stupid. It's ignorance of you. They don't think about you. People don't think about you.
Yeah,
you know, they
people
think about
only know
themselves.
people only know what they know.
Yeah, and unless they really focus on it, people don't think about other people. It just is what it is. We're selfish little creatures.
Yeah.
The fourth one was forgiving yourself, which is obviously the hardest. Trying to find the best way to move forward. So I mean, it's all about forgiving, not forgetting, but forgiving.
No, well, I think we have to keep all of it in mind.
Yeah.
I think if we forget, we're just backstepping.
Yeah.
Like you have the forgive and never forget thing, but I think it's because the forgetting, if we do, we're doing a disservice to ourselves. We're doing a disservice to the other people that we could help.
Doomed to repeat.
Yeah.
History.
Which is exactly why we're rereading books. This is exactly why we're rereading things that are like getting tools that are thousands of years old.
Yeah.
We're not going to be perfect at it.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I was down at the pool reading Meditations.
Oh.
And I actually was reading the introduction because it helped me. I like the history aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the fact that, because like if you just read it itself, I'm sure there's plenty of parts where he talks about what a bad man he is. But basically, I mean, all he ever did was war. Yeah. He was fighting the Germanic people. He was fighting all people all the time. Not physically himself, but I like the way he wrote, because he was aspiring to be better, even if he couldn't be better.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool. I mean, granted, it's a sign of the times where he was.
Yeah.
But also Rome was trying to take everything. So.
Yeah, I need to pay attention more of the history of it. But before we actually started talking about Meditations, I actually went back and watched a couple like small documentaries and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it, when you attach some kind of like knowledge to what you're reading, when it's historical, it helps it seep in so much better. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't know that the reason that he talks about death so much was because they had the plagues going on, and was because he lost so many kids, and he lost his wife, and he lost all of these people, and death was on his shoulder all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's a tough way to be, especially all powerful.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think, like, even my writing style, based off of how I carry some of this, but for me, when I'm going through those cycles, it's easier for me to write on the days that I feel down, and it's easier for me to write on the days that I feel more, because I have more introspection of my feelings and of my thoughts. And I think, again, it just comes back down to me being in a place that I was like overtly watching myself, and everything mattered at my darkest point. Every single word that I said, everything that somebody else said, and it was all trying to play back into like giving me a reason to, whether it was take my own life or run away from everything or whatever, or have terrible substance abuse. It was all feeding into like pushing myself into that place. This fucking thing made me so tense.
Yeah.
Like I feel myself right now.
Gave me little chilly bumps.
I'm gripping my.
Loosen up, shake it out.
It's not. This is. But this is the point that I'm trying to make, right? Like, it makes like like going back to the place. Like changes the chemical, changes what gets dumped into your brain, and this is the exact example of it. Like it's like I was talking to you and I took some drugs and now they're hitting. And that's exactly what's going on in chemistry. And now I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything just kind of feeds. When you're in that spot, everything just feeds to being a part of its plan, a part of the darkness, part of hell, a part of, your suicidal ideation. Like everything feeds into that. But it made me, I think that's what saved me, because it made me look at life a completely different way. And it just so happened that when the turn of events for me didn't work out, I was like, oh, fuck, maybe I'm looking at this completely wrong. Maybe I should be facing everything rather than trying to run away from it, rather than giving up, which I know is a hard concept to come about, especially if you're in it, because that feels like it's the only way out. The only way that I saw it after the fact was you have to run into it. And I still run away for a while with certain things, and I'm working on that. But I had to decide running away from it now didn't work. And like I had to run back into it.
You got to be a buffalo, not a cow.
Yeah.
Run into the storm,
one
not
of
away.
my favorite things. Why don't you tell the buffalo thing? Because we're going to end up having some merch about it. And I think I'm going to end up getting my big back tattoo for it. Oh, don't give me that look. I'm for sure.
Joey had one years ago saved for me.
Oh, did he?
That was a half sleeve buffalo.
Oh, you should get it. I'm going to get my, I think my whole.
But that might be played out. I might need to figure out something else.
I'm doing like the whole. Well, you tell this story first, and then I'll say what I'm getting.
I mean, I don't totally remember the story, but it was
Oh, I can tell it. You want me to? Okay.
Yeah, you should, because I only remember the point of it.
So if anybody else has said this, they probably said it better. But when you weather a storm, if you watch cows will typically run away from the storm. They continuously run, and they get caught in whatever massive storm that it's in. They're caught in it. And as the storm pushes, they're still running. So they're in it much longer. Whereas the buffalo will either stand still, or they will walk into the storm, or what we call weather the storm. And that's why we like the buffalo.
Yeah.
Because it takes you much less time if you just push through it. And I like with any problem in your life, if you can run away from it 4 years, there's still problems that I'm dealing with that I'm running away from as we speak. That's why I'm smiling and laughing about it. And I'm laughing because I have the capability of changing it, and I am working on it. There's things that you have to do. You have to do things in steps. If I tackled everything at once, I'd be down on the ground all the time. But if you can take your storms head on and push through them, you won't be like the cows and have them follow you until it eventually passes you. In life, it might not eventually pass you.
Mhm.
You might wait until your deathbed for it to eventually pass you. So if you can face your problems head on and just dive into the attack, dive into the darkness, dive into all of it, and find the light through the
Mhm.
storm, you're going to be in it for a significant less time.
There you go.
So.
It's like prioritizing pain. It might be hard and dark and scary, and you might get hurt going into the storm. You could die going into the storm potentially, depending on what the storm is. But it'll end sooner too.
Yeah. And we're not telling anybody to just like run and jump
Absolutely
into a
not.
fucking tornado.
Also,
I mean, take a video, but
makes me think of the movie It Follows. Did you ever see that one? I know
Which
I told you
one
to
is
watch
that?
it. It's the one where some dude he has sex with this chick and passes on, like, it's almost like an STD demon that then walks
the
after
Thing?
you. It walks after you disguised as like someone you know and eventually tries to kill you. And then it goes down the line.
I've never seen this.
Oh, okay.
You've definitely told me about this, but I've
yeah,
never watched it.
So basically, with what we're talking about, that would be like your problems will follow you forever. Maybe not fast, and you might see them coming and run again, but no matter where you go, no matter what you do, they will catch you eventually.
Well, they live in your psyche. They're there. I can't run away from anything any of the problems. There are some things, like when we say problems, like you shouldn't be worried about what you said in 3rd grade. Like those aren't problems, and those might follow you around. But there's problems that everybody knows that they could handle and they could deal with. And taking those problems head on to better your life is the point.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and I'm just thinking of this now, one of the most interesting parts of that movie was that no one else could see what was coming for you. Only you could see it. Only you can see your problems.
I wonder if they wrote that for that reason.
No one else can see your problems. I used to think it was about STDs. That's kind of what it came about to me. But then,
even talking about it now.
Yeah.
It's called It Follows?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
the buffalo thing. Okay.
The buffalo.
So that's what I'm getting. So me and Joey talked about it, and I was like, I said, I just want a really big buffalo. But then I was like, it doesn't make with like what I have on my shoulders already. It won't pan out. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get some buffalo and then do some kind of storm deal or whatever. Because I just really like it. Everyone's like, oh, put a bad butterfly. And I was like, I should wait and see if this works out.
I was going to ask you when we were going to make our appointments.
Yeah, to get them on our hand.
Yeah, it was either my hand or I thought about my throat, but probably not my throat.
Probably not yet. Let's wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody buy some merch so
Whatever.
we can get tattoos on our
If it
throat.
doesn't work out, fool me once, can't fool me.
Yeah.
Don't be fooling me again.
Yeah.
So whatever George Bush said.
That's such a great part.
Whatever W said.
Yeah. Fool man can't be fooled again. Yeah. Like I don't know how to prepare to. I mean, it's separating myself from it. But the problem is, we're here to talk about what it does to you, and we're here to talk about where depression will take you, and where anxiety will take you, and where like the tools it takes to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure of the tool. I think if we talk about that, the tool that got me out of that thinking was getting it down on paper, was journaling. And then the other tool was having the community or having you to talk to right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had rolled up and I'm not even sure what we had talked about, but I was like, hey, I just wrote this. And then you had read it. And all I wanted you to do was to read it, to know like, that's where my brain just came from right now. And that's the place that I'm in. And then I think you as a friend, we just kind of got to work and started bullshitting and talking, and it helped me realize that there's two worlds that I was living in.
Mm-hmm.
One was this darkness and the other was this light.
Yeah.
And I think, that's happened quite often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I think that's the tool was having somebody. I mean, I know me and you had talked about that quite often. Like I had people around me, but I had you to lean on when I was going through my hardest times.
Mm-hmm.
I had you to kind of call to when I was in a shit spot.
Yeah.
Especially when I had a couple, hospital visits and shit like that.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
at the hospital.
What's the fucking card game? Or
Liar's Poker.
Yeah, Liar's Poker. With
We
some
played it
dollar
wrong,
bills.
but it was fun.
It was really fun.
You had so many ones.
Yeah.
For, was it tolls?
It was for tolls for Colorado. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not always the most elegant with my words or my writing, but I'm pretty good at sitting with people.
Fantastic at it.
Like I can hang out and quiet for however long it needs to be.
Well, sitting with somebody in the mud is like one of the most important things. I forget the guy who says that, but yeah, just having somebody to sit in the mud with, and like I wouldn't suggest if you have somebody to sit in the mud with, or if you are the person who sits in the mud with somebody else, I wouldn't suggest rolling around in the mud. But I'd sit in it for a while and then stand up and try to get your friend out of the mud, which I know is what happened with me and you quite a bit.
Is Mud Buddies a t-shirt?
Mud Buddies. I like that.
Good for Spartan Race.
Yeah.
Team Mud Buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm we're going to be releasing a bunch of the
Also, quick note.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can say suicide.
Why?
Because YouTube's weird.
I have to bleep out.
People say unalive.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty pathetic.
Man, no wonder we're making this fucking podcast.
I guess we'll see what happens. Let's just leave it in and whatever it is what it is.
Then I'll have to bleep it out and re-upload it.
Yeah. So no big deal. I've not heard people be able to talk about suicide on podcasts.
I didn't know that. That's crazy because that's like the point. That's like one of the main points about this.
Look at all the hats. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Not every one.
Not all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're there for.
Yeah. Did you see that thing I sent you yesterday?
Which one?
It was the two main psychologists, Adler and Freud.
I didn't see it.
I think we might be Adler people.
Okay.
I can't totally explain it right now, but Freud was everything's about your childhood. Everything is about that. Where Adler was, let me find it.
What if the mental health crisis exists because we followed the wrong guy? In modern psychology, there were two major voices, Freud and Adler. Guess which one we built an entire industry around? In Freud's model, everything's about your childhood, your parents, your trauma. You're broken because of what happened to you. And healing means going back and reliving every moment. But Adler, he didn't ignore the past, but he said it's not the main thing. What really matters? Your beliefs, your goals, your sense of meaning. He believed healing came from taking responsibility, creating connection, and building purpose in the now. But we didn't follow Adler, we followed Freud. Because Freud's model made it easy to build an industry around therapy that keeps you talking year after year. It feels like healing, but nothing actually changes. You explain your patterns, you analyze your wounds, but you stay stuck. What we need is Adler's model. We need to reprogram your subconscious with forward-focused beliefs, not to stay stuck in the past. We built a tool to help you build the inner strength Adler talked about from the inside out.
I think there's a good balance between those two.
Yeah. There's a dichotomy in there. All right. So I would say for sure I follow more of that. I mean, that's based off of one video.
Without ever having heard of the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
exactly.
whatever that tells you.
So there's an aspect in there too that this Rogan had this author on. It's a woman. Was a mom, and she talked about the fact, I think that I could be fucking totally blowing this out of proportion or blowing this off, but her daughter was in therapy for like years,
mm-hmm.
and come to find out the therapist was just nonstop bringing up the same old problems, like from her childhood, the same trauma, like working on it.
Mm-hmm.
When in turn, it's better for the child to pretend as if it didn't actually, not that it didn't happen, but that it's not that big of a deal. Once they come to the first realization of it, you're not supposed to dive in anymore. Like kids who are in therapy in like high school and stuff and they're having problems. If you continuously bring up their problem, that's all they fucking think about. And especially when you're in high school and stuff. High school is like everything was the biggest deal.
Mhm.
I couldn't tell you one fucking thing really that happened in high school. I
Mhm.
could tell you about the parties. And I
Mhm.
could tell you about the fun times. Anything that I worried about in high school, don't really remember at
Mhm.
all. Like it's all left me at this point. Maybe I hit my head too hard at some point, but because there's a lot of things I don't remember. But yeah, you're not supposed to fixate on something for your entire life, for years of your life. You're supposed to find new goals and find new meaning and find this aspiration to live a different life than the one that you were living when that trauma happened, than when that bad thing, when the good thing happened, when whatever it is you've been working through in therapy.
Mhm.
Typically, I don't think it takes years. I think that is like a Freudian thing that for you, in order for you to work through something, it takes years for you to work through something in your past. And I think that's an outdated.
Yeah. I mean, what do we do? What I do and what I've, been told and makes perfect sense when my daughter falls down because she's just learning to walk and she starts crying. If I sit there and baby her and, oh, what happened? Oh, you're hurt. She screams louder. She gets more upset.
Yeah.
But if I just make her laugh or tickle her or may even pick her up and just move her away from there, then she's not focused on falling down and being mostly scared, I think is what usually happens. She doesn't usually get hurt falling down. But, it's like, but yeah, if you sit there and ruminate, then you feed into her emotions and then she feeds into your emotions and it doesn't help.
Well, you're
anyone.
justifying that she should be scared for falling down, and we fall down all the time.
Yeah.
And we know how to pick ourselves back up. Babies just don't yet.
Yeah.
So the more we can blow it off and be like, oh yeah, that's just another thing that happens in life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, she's learning to walk, but it does that carries on till the day we die.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just think it's that's, just now thinking about it, I think that's the best way I can think to look at it is, if you need to be reminded that something happened, then do that, but also be ready to move forward.
It's the moving forward that we all get stuck on. And I think
storms never last.
Yeah.
That's
I
the best
think
part.
that the funny thing is, I think that there's a part of us that wants to stay there because change is scary, because growth is scary. So instead of talking about something new in therapy, instead of talking about the next steps that you've made or the new job that you have or all of this change, instead we stick with what happened to me when I was young. Why did my parents do this when I was this age? Why did these kids be mean to me when I was this age? Like, why does the past suck? Well, because the past sucks. And sometimes our lives are most times our lives are supposed to just continuously get better.
Mm-hmm.
So if you focus on that past, some of us choose to stay there without knowing it because it's comfortable to stay in the scariest parts.
Well, it's comfortable and I, I go to therapy. That being said, sometimes focusing just on problems all the time, I think selfishly, it becomes like you're getting like praise, you're getting attention, and you're talking about the same thing over my pain, my problems, my this, my that. And I just don't.
I don't abide by that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we might do it to a fault.
Yeah.
I might push myself away if people are talking about their problems and they're like, I might push myself to the fact where I'm like, none of my problems matter. And to a point, some of them don't.
everyone's got a worse life somewhere.
Exactly.
There's always someone who's got it
Yeah.
worse. So that's, that's not a great way to move on necessarily.
Yeah. That's what
Your
I'm saying.
problems are your problems.
Yeah.
You just have to deal with them in a positive, or the best way you can think of, I suppose.
Yeah.
But sometimes just hammering the same thing, if you, what is it? You hit your head on a wall 48 times and nothing changes. You do it a 49, 30, you change what you're doing and how you're looking at things, kind of deal. Because you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
By hitting your head on a wall over and over.
Yeah. And that's life is the wall.
Yeah.
So
It's a big wall.
Might want to find a jackhammer or might want to get a sledgehammer and start beating the wall.
Beat it off.
Beat it off.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay. So, are you going to read?
Yeah, I'm going to explain a little story first, I guess.
Okay.
Just the part of my doom scrolling routine. This one just really hit me. So there's a scene, there's a boy, a horse, and a fox. Dark setting, they're in the snow. The boy is down on his knees, and he's very sad. And he says to the fox and the horse, he says, I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't ever think I'm going to find home. So the fox talks to the boy, and he says, sometimes your mind plays tricks on you, that you're no good. That it's hopeless. Then he reminds him that you are loved, you are important, and you bring something to the world that no one else can. So hold on.
You're okay. It's all part of it, man.
So for me, when he talks about home, it's more about love and a place.
You want to take a second?
Yeah.
Just take a second.
It'll get
Nate.
that fucking part.
Yeah, dude. Nate.
So when I'm talking about home, in particular this video, The Boy and the Fox, I identify with the boy in the video, feeling hopeless, thinking I would never find my home or love. And I feel so lucky and grateful that I was able to come out of a very dark period of my life at a time where I was hopeless and depressed. And I just happened to meet a wonderful woman by chance, who I love very much. And now we have a beautiful daughter, the joy of my world. And of course, we have our animals too. After years and years of floating around, going wherever the wind blew, now I finally had a goal and a purpose to focus on, to take care of my family and try to help others along the way. I'm not saying you need to be in a relationship to be happy, or have a child to be happy, but it's given me more purpose than I could ask for. That doesn't mean it's easy. Life is hard and mundane and fast and slow and up and down and stressful. But now in this moment, I couldn't ask for a better weight to bear. Because I'm happy, even when my face says otherwise. Finding purpose, no matter what, is a beautiful thing.
I love it. Your face sometimes does not show that you're happy. Yeah. I think that, that's the point too. Like that kind of writing and how growth changes us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
having purpose, especially you and the shit that you went through, and finding her and having a baby and
Yeah.
beginning a life that isn't floating.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and you know, luckily enough, like when I met her, I was kind of coming out a little bit of it. So I was getting a little better, which I think was great because I don't think she'd have stuck around if I would have been who I was before.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. What would have been, you know, that would, I don't,
Women stick around a lot longer than they should sometimes.
yeah,
We love them for it
sure
because
do.
we wouldn't have them if they didn't. So
Sure do. But yeah, I think it was that combination because she was dealing with her own shit at the time too. So I think we both just kind of met each other at a point where we were good enough to start being with each other.
Yeah.
And then we've worked on it from there.
Right.
And, you know, we're engaged now.
congratulations.
Things are going pretty good. But like I said, life's stressful. Sometimes it sucks. But couldn't ask for a better way to be.
Yeah. So, I think both me and you obviously have had a bit of struggle reading our own things out loud. I wonder if that's a tool that helps people. I write down in my journal a lot, and I have a lot of shit that I've written down, happy and sad and all sorts of stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it I don't read out loud.
Yeah.
And there was a point in my therapy that he had suggested to me to say things out loud. You know how people will say your affirmations out loud, and
Mm-hmm.
but I never allocated it to actually reading it out loud. And I really think that that's what makes it real.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it, I know that, you know, I've said, and I'll always say that writing down all of your thoughts in a notebook makes it real. But I think that it connects emotion
Mm-hmm.
to your words when we're saying it out loud.
Yeah. Well, and people can understand, like, until, like, I read that. I've read it a few times. I just can't feel about it the same way that you do until you read it out loud. And then when you read it out loud,
Yeah.
I got little chills.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Like, I do think that's probably a positive way to deal with things because then people can understand a lot better, especially when it's in your own voice.
Yeah.
Because when they read it with their own head. And if they're not anywhere near the same position, like, I know people who've never been depressed.
Me and Chris had talked about
And
that.
they're like, yo.
Yeah, what the
Like,
fuck?
what's wrong? They're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, they're very, they look at themselves very accurately. They're very, like, they can do all that part, but they don't have all the sadness.
Yeah.
And the lack of self-love for them, like the lack
Yeah.
of love for themselves. They don't have all that. And I'm like, man, must be
And we talk
fucking
about that
nice.
too. It's like, if they do, fuck, can they hide it? I'm going to end up doing this more and more reading outside of it, you know, and to your point, I sent this to Chris without any explanation, without anything.
Mhm.
And he was like, I like it. But yeah, I could tell he was a little thrown off
Mhm.
because he's like, this doesn't sound like you.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, it's not. It's me, but 4.5 years ago, longer than that, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's kind of what it felt like. He's like, it felt like, you know, you definitely wrote it, but it felt like it wasn't you right now. It wasn't because I've only gotten to know Chris over the last year and a half.
Mhm.
And I've been a totally different person than I was 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, it's like that's why we wanted to kind of talk about it, is how much growth that happens. And a lot of my creativity, a lot of my art, we talk about that all the time, where it's like it comes out of my darkest places.
Mhm.
But there's a duality there, and you can find just as many lessons and just as many tools, and you can be just as creative coming out of the happiness
Mhm.
side of things too. And I think that that's where me and you are kind of showing that right now. Like I'm just digging into my past. It's making me feel tense and fucking emotional and weird to like even dip back into there. And where you're more on, and like, and I've been working on this since then, both of us have. And like there was a point where you had to take a break for your family, and now it's like you're good and you're dipping back in. And so I'm bringing up shit that I've had going on in my past,
Mhm.
and then you're bringing in things like your creative side and stuff is now coming out even more
Yeah.
because of the happiness side of things and how things are going great for you. And so like that's the perfect duality
Yeah.
there.
Well, and two, I think just like when you were talking about a lot of your art came from darkness, I think it's probably just a muscle that you have to work to have the happiness be the same way.
Yeah.
Because like let's be honest, it's so much easier. It's so easy to be dark and mysterious and
yeah.
depraved and bad. It's
Yeah.
so easy. My mind can do a million things.
Oh yeah.
It's so dark and
Yeah.
twisted. But that being said, you got to work on it. Just like everything else, you got to work on being happy. You got to work on what makes you happy. You got to work on your happiness, creativity as well.
Yeah, I can't agree more.